And we're back. Let's just check in and see what price did. It went to 24.73. We said 24.74, 24.73, so another to the penny. I didn't even need a line. Oh my goodness gracious me. GameStop doing exactly what I said it would do. If we just take price action and put it into some context there, you can see how well these trade spotting lines have worked out if you were using them to measure potential price movements. All of these trades looking pretty good at the minute. Haven't come up and tested this important level. Questions this idea of a downtrend. The breakout, the retest, measured move from the bull flag on the hourly time frame. Just get that up. Zoom in a little. Find it somewhere in here. Where is it? Somewhere in here. Anywho, point being, I think we... How did it get down there? Was it that we were looking at? Anyway, it's there too. It works there. Probably we were using it up here. And the breakout, you take that across. Oh yeah, you were moving it across. Move that across to this sort of area. You got resistance there. And that's currently where price is trying to push through again. If it does manage to do so, you'll get the full measured move from inside this tightening wedge. That's something like that. Here you see this sort of thing, from the lows to the high within the formation. Drop that on the breakout point, which was where it came from. And it could be taking price all the way back up to 28 bucks. That's not completely crazy. If you look left, you can see important level of resistance, and price is in search of resistance, so that could be anywhere here on this candle. It could be in at around 27.69. High 27s would be good. Break there, then potentially 28.50, and then 28.90. Those would be the next levels to look to during that 15-second time frame where all the drama happens. And that's quite a dramatic recovery, isn't it? Goes any further, it'll be a successful V-shaped recovery. You could get a lot of volatility in the last little bit of price action today. Eager to see that. Be very positive if it happened. Is the stream working? Apparently it is. We've got 78 folks here, or at least it went live anyway. And I see the equalizer seems to have a mind of its own there. The equalizer has a mind of its own. So welcome back to TradeSpot After Dark. GameStop price action. Lisbon price action. Also check in with SPY. 5474 SPX. We're talking SPX. Period of consolidation. Hasn't actually managed to break back above resistance. Putting that in context on this 15-minute time frame. Following these trends on up again. Find support at the moment. If it does break down, we've got this target at 5449. If you're looking at actual SPY, the actual SPY, SPY instead of SPX. Get it on hourly time frame. And you would be looking, it's gone through so many brilliant targets there. Filled that gap. Strong reaction subsequently. Bullishly divergent. Overcame any momentum that was holding it down. And so far it's consolidating really. You know, you put it in the 1 hour time frame, you can see it in even wider candles there on the 4 hour. This is consolidating at resistance. There is this huge gap below, which will be filled at some stage, and it will be, you need to tempt people to get the liquidity to then push that direction in the first instance. So if we're looking at it like that, we might think stop clicking the wrong buttons. That's what you might think. You might think that would be a clear area of support at 534, 535. Close that gap and see something similar to what we saw before. You know, you could obviously go slightly below it, look for the actual support on price action that come in around 530. 530 is perhaps the area to look to, because you have, along with this level of resistance, you've then that subsequent level of support, and price push a little bit higher, put in a bearishly divergent top. Doesn't even have to come down here. Whether or not it goes through the first pass or not is irrelevant, and then likely something like this might be what you're looking at in price action. You'd be hoping for bullish divergence between these lows here. Price obviously would be lower, so you'd have that in red. It's unlikely to go like this long in that formation, but it could well happen. At the same point, you'd be looking for some bullish divergence between these lows. Something like this. Fill the gap and you'd see similar situation to you saw here, right? With the extensive move down. Not exactly bearishly divergent. That was such a huge breakdown, though you would anticipate that. And you had the divergence overruled going through the center line at that point. And it clearly wasn't consolidation because of what we saw on the momentum. And you'd previously come out of a channel there and gone straight back down after hitting resistance. Whereas at this occasion, if you're drawing the same channel, you've not quite done all of that yet. Slipped out of it. Could push higher still. In around those levels. Prior high coming down. Do something not unlike that. As I say, it's probably much more likely that it comes down, like while it goes up there, it comes down sooner than all of this would illustrate across the x-axis. But I get my gist. You get my gist, for sure you do. So, back to GameStop, 15-second time frame. What have you been doing in the last few seconds? Well, that's not much of a surprise, is it? Let's see how it moves. There's this danger. But that danger, with this bullish divergence underneath, and there's also a trend line happening now, so this is interesting what happens in the next few seconds here. 15-second time frame. Look to that trend line, you'd obviously talk about then this bullish divergence, which has been going on throughout that sequence of lower lows. Lower lows! Oh look, it wasn't Rory Kitty's fault. It was Taylor Swift's fault. You see? Look at it, just... fuck's sake, eh? Financial news. Financial news website's absolutely brilliant at giving you a laugh while you're making money. So price putting in a sequence of lower lows, you've got your momentum here, back testing that downward slope and resistance, also at a crucial horizontal level. Where they intersect is where price is finding a little bit of congestion. I call it congestion. In our city here in Edinburgh, years ago, they talked about having a congestion charge and copy in London so that all the people who had cars had to pay to get into the city, and everybody said, well then I'm not going to come to the city. It's not worth the £2. It's not worth the £2. So, it didn't happen. Shocking. They'll probably bring it back, you know. These cost pressures. They're all under the cost pressures, isn't it? Local government is cracking under the weight. They should learn to trade, so they should. You also see throughout this formation there's been quite obvious areas. Super, super obvious. This is so incredibly obvious. I'm not sure if you could quite use that. That'll do fine. That'll do. Donkey. Makes sense. All makes a lot of sense that it could test the basis line of this channel, which I drew on using, well, who knows, like complete magic to take the bottom side of it into where it did. But there it is. That's the inflection point. Let's see how it works out. If you were to be using that for your measured move, which at this point is like completely crazy because I've based most of it on Hocus Pocus in the first instance, you might be looking at that $26 target. That's what depends obviously where it breaks this downward slope and diagonal. When it's coming past the basis line, intersects with that horizontal there, very possible, then might not be, it breaks up until sometime around here, the last 13 minutes of the day. Hey, could be. Lisbon, what are you up to? Also consolidating at resistance. This being resistance, touched it a number of times here. And clearly this was the level of support. I haven't touched it there, and obviously touched it here. This is high or low, you know. So at this stage, you measure the strength of this retracement, determine where it's going, up or whatnot. Up or where else? Where do things go? Up, right? Stonks only go up, especially Lipston stonk, which goes up and down all the time. It's in particular only goes up. Oh my goodness, I'm messing up my amazing drawings. I don't want that to happen. This is a crucial, amazing, beautiful drawing from Mr. Spiffing Brit. Hey, There we go. Up 7.4% today. The thing with Lisbon, right, and what this occurred to me to say this, is that a lot of people will be really excited about the volatility they've seen, the low entries they've got, the fact that, you know, some people like myself were getting this in at around 0.54. And I first started talking about this thing, who knows, right? The point is I got loads of it around 0.54, and I mentioned very clearly a number of times that that's probably where you'll be looking for your best entry. Worst case scenario is it comes down to 0.44, and so you'd want your stop below there beyond the X point on this Gartley. Now, a lot of people will be excited by that volatility, the range in price action over the short period of time, and it taking them into profit, thinking, oh, I'll just do that again 5 or 6 times. And that's a nice idea, you know, I'm not going to critique that idea, but there's a strong danger, and you'll have seen it yourself, and it maybe even left you with psychological scars, that getting out of trades at a profit level just because you think it's going to come back because you've traded lots and price always comes back to your entry and always pisses you off and you always wish you'd taken that profit. If it came back there, right, maybe you would want your stop just above there, or somewhere where it'd be crucial previous price action, instead of taking profit at levels where if it just finds support before returning to your desired entry, it blasts off to the top side, right? So it's not financial advice, obviously. It's how to trade. And a lot of people will say things like, oh, how did Roaring Kitty hold here? Why did he hold there? Why did he do the next thing? And the reason is because Roaring Kitty doesn't know the future, just like I don't know the future, and just like nobody on planet Earth knows the future. And so, like, this anticipation you have, right, that will likely come at, like, for prices to come back down. And it's happened to me so many times before. You know, you get that Gestalt impression, Gestalt, really good German word there that means to see the true face of things. But in this instance, what it means is that you recognize a pattern and you apply it and project it onto things that aren't really there. And usually it happens because of an emotional bias. And it might be an emotional thing that's convincing you of the validity that price will come back. May well do, so we would look at stops for profit protection. But in terms of trying to take profit and like be extra smart and like hee, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. If it works out, more power to you. The point would be, what if it doesn't come back, right? Because the move on offer, and it speaks to people's greed that they do this, the move on offer is absolutely huge. It's absolutely huge just to meet this downward sloping diagonal. Never mind where I actually think it's going. So the idea that you would, you know, miss out on all of this because you took profit at like whatever. I mean, it's a huge percentage. Sure, of course it is. It's a very volatile stock. You know, you would regret it. You would really regretty spaghetti if it did then explode, right? So build that into your position management at least, if not into your overall idea and the holistic strategy you might consider, right? This would be a part of it. Because price, if it goes to where I've decided that I'm holding it to, you know, you're not acting in concert or whatever, but we'd all celebrate, like, you know, together, all holding it, not holding it together, but we'd hold it individually, and then we'd celebrate together, you know, and you'd be celebrating, how does price make it up this way, right? Well, it's very fit, it's worked out lots, and it's really strong, fit price action. They're up at 69 bucks. You'd be delighted with that. Now, you wouldn't give up the opportunity that's actually available. But by taking profit and then thinking, I'll just come back to my entry or below because price always did. Instead, you think about various areas to manage your position and protect that capital. Why does the lock button, why does it unlock? I didn't enter the special code. And this is often the nature of this sort of move. You know, it's the prior formation that's actually been broken. There's the retest of it. And now it's putting in a fairly strong level of resistance. And strong in that it's clear, it's obvious. Whether it's actually strong, I'd very much doubt it, because having tested that resistance, it's come back down to what could conceivably be a diagonal support line. And so far it's done alright, right? So if it breaks up to the top side now and goes back above 0.66, in particular if it goes back above 0.767, you might be looking for these targets up at around 0.73, up around 0.78, and that's nothing to speak of the huge moves you get up here, right? And it moves the percentage value to you up here. It's insane when your entries are in around these areas. Right now, that doesn't mean that they won't be insane in here. They would be. But the point is, it doesn't necessarily come back here. And if you are holding it up there, you're making so much more money than you might be comfortable using in your capital when you're making your trading decisions, which is what you're trying to capture with that profit taking and re-entry strategy. And so you can only really think one trade ahead, and that's where you might take profit, not where you would then subsequently enter again. And so each step in turn, every action with a purpose. You're a trader now. GameStop. This channel pretending it's real. I like channel. Why are you pretending you're real? How many people got? 161 folks came back to join us. Appreciate you people. Thank you very much. Very much thank yous. And I've got an old chat box. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the fresh one. Fresh. So I can see you all. There you are. Good people. Yo. Fago Kang. Fago Kang. Fago Kang, welcome. Lipson to the moon. Jay Jordan, how you doing, sir? Look at those emojis. Brilliant. Did we get the Jamie's hiding one? Did it get good use? He's in a wig. Ain't seen me right. Jamie is a genius. Price went exactly to 24.88, bounced, then 24.74 with divergence. Hey, it's true story. Look at this. Is crazy, 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 crazy price. There's your 88. There's the bounce. There's the divergence. There's the turnaround. Love a little bit of the old Jamie was right, so we do. Hey, get it in the chat box there if you want to. So it looks quite good at the minute. Hold this line here, 24.87. Doesn't have to get there, obviously. It's got obvious support where it is. Previous low. This is lower on RSI. Recover the center line now. That would be very strong. You push into the bullish control zone there. Maybe come up and test 25.68. 25.74 towards the end of the day. Towards the end of the day. 45 minutes left on power hour. Could be 30 minutes before we see that move if it's happening. But then I don't do the x-axis. That does not happen. That does not happen. Good stuff. We had a little bit of a look at Tesla. That was interesting earlier. And what else did we talk about? Loads of things. But we'll see them all in those clips. Oh, those such good clips, so they will be. Right, so will price action continue? I shall be watching the charts and talking as things happen and responding to questions in the chat box. Oops, I didn't mean to turn that on. I meant to turn this off. These off. And this is where everyone starts sharing the muted button, saying, "He's muted, Brian, you're muted." What are your targets for price action towards the end of the day? 9 months. Way, hey, that's enough for a baby. That's 9 months. That's nearly enough for a baby, Colin. That's nearly enough for a baby. Which one of us is pregnant? Hope not me. That means I get to be pregnant and all moody and stuff, Colin. and have strange cravings. Maybe that's why I'm so addicted to peri peri chicken right now. You'll absolutely never guess what I'm doing. Colin, you can't feed me pizza, I'm pregnant. You want a little pizza baby? If you're on the old Discord there, check out Merrick's take on pizza. PZZA. Good take if you ask me. I feel better too, Jen. I feel better too now I'm pregnant. I can eat what I want. I can shout at Colin. That's the dream life, really. I'm gonna get pregnant more often. I'm gonna get pregnant every weekend. God, I'm gonna get rid of that fucking list. It was only there because Chatbox was hiding it, so I didn't really feel the need to like change it or update it or anything. Don't be buying shit off that list just because it's there. Doesn't mean anything. I've got plenty of watch lists if you want to see a good watch list. 6 kids in. 6 kids in. Iger, fucking hell, mate. My Iger out here doing it for the human race. Why are you doing this, Iger? Because I want humanity to survive. That's what he's... Because he wants humanity to survive. What a lad. Hey, Iger, you're a real hero there, taking it on that burden. Taking on that burden of getting your wife pregnant 6 times. And that's well done. And then 6 fucking babies. I hope you're paying her millions and millions of dollars for that. I'm here for the survival of the species. That's exactly what's happening. Saving the day. You know? In future, your children will be able to survive because they'll be able to meet Iger's children and make more children. As disgusting as that sounds. Children shouldn't be having children. Okay, so that was the fastest anyone's ever eaten chicken legs. Chicken legs, chicken and legs. See, I can do this and then I can just click these things. Often people ask about this thing. People have asked about these things recently. That was something we talked about from like 40 cents or something. Holy shit, yo. Yeah, 45 spot 0 spot 4513, and it's been up at 138. Before I took a lot of profits, and then I entered again at 0 spot 85, and then it went up to 130 something. And again, I took a lot of profits. And I may still have some. I may. And then, you know, a lot of people ask about Bitcoin. It's absolutely brilliant. I love Bitcoin. It's freedom monies. Bitcoin is the greatest thing in the world. I absolutely love Bitcoin. Fell out of this wedge. Gets back in again. It's going to go boom. This was what we'd had set up for if price does make its way back above 66.5, then it likely comes in and tests 67.6, which would leave you a trade up to 672, which is like, you know, 8 to 10% or something. You can also follow that, and that risk reward and that thing's over 3 to 1. And it would make sense. It makes sense for price to do that. It would be fantastic if it did too. Fantabadosy. Was this danger? That again looks like it's potentially... Is it a harmonic? Could be. That didn't exceed the high, so it could be. And then certainly this. And this could be too. Anyway, doesn't really matter. The fact that it came there probably is a hop. Get back in there, a bit of displacement, get the measure moved to the top side, retest that resistance as support, and then go on. Bitcoin would have recovered. 24.90. Good old GameStop. I mean, I just made that channel up. You saw me. Spooky price action. Spooky price action. Anyway, I'm not bullying the channel. It's not like you're not a real channel. You're not a real channel. Real channel go live person. It's not me bullying it. It's just... It's not real. Monster. Green today. Got work to do there, monster. And we'll keep her lit, shall we? We'll keep her lit on the old GameStop chart. And I'll check in with you guys. What have you been saying since I've been stuffing my face? Become a member. Do it. Howdy Boston. Spooky price action at a distance. Yes, that's it. Sarah Rera, the physicist in the chat box. 4 kiddos here. My oldest son is about to start following along in charting and learning. Alright, Justin Pickerel. Frickin' legend. Family of traders. He's going to be minted by the time the other ones grow up. Shaheb, I answered your question in the previous show about the option chain for a previous entry by telling you what contracts, what expiry, the strike, the expiry, the method for doing it, the reason for doing those ones, and I also did the TA to explain where price is and what it might do and what behaviors it might express in advance. So it was immediately after I read your message in the chat box in an earlier video. Also, Shahab, if you've got money to be buying options, you've got money to be on one of the services that we provide that help you trade better and not lose money like a silly billy. Definitely think about those. They're open to you. And having a grey name in the chat box, while it is advisable to say at TradeSpotting, when I see it, I do also notice it comes next to a grey name, and I think, oh my god, a ghost. A grey name, a ghost. It's a ghost of a man. And then I think, well, I could just not do that, you know. I could just not do that. And then Gary wouldn't mind. Gary wouldn't mind at all. Lovely Gary. So I definitely want to help you, Sahib, but I think I already did. I don't want to go over it twice. Don't trust the greys. Greys. I got it right. I got it, Sarah, even though you can't write properly. Even you can't write properly, having a computer, a whole massive phone computer thing to do it with you do. Your neighbor has 8 kids. Holy crap. Holy crap, hey, isn't it amazing? That's amazing that medical technology has moved on so much that women can carry 8 kids and it doesn't absolutely, totally and utterly drain them of all their own life force. 8 kids. My dad has 6 brothers and sisters. My mum has 6 brothers and sisters, so that was 7. My dad's family had 4 babies that didn't make it to 1 year old, which must have been incredibly tough on his mum, who had to bring them up on her own because my dad's dad fought in the war. For the whole war. Dad's dad fought in the whole war. And he was in the merchant navy. No, he was in the actual navy, pardon me. He was in the actual navy and was going across on the ships across the Atlantic for years, even before, you know, America were involved in the war. And those pesky Nazis were trying to blow him up. And they did a couple of times, sunk his ship. One of them, he wasn't on it because he was sick that morning, so another dude took his place. The other dude wanted to go. That wasn't very good luck for him. Good luck for me, though, or I wouldn't be here. And then, you know, something else happened, blah, 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 blah. And he managed to survive the whole bloody war. But it made it very tough on the mum. It made it very tough on the mum, so it did. And then he came back from the war with huge, massive flags that he'd taken from Berlin and stuff. Yes, that's how it went. After the Navy had done a good job. After they'd done a good job, and they'd finished doing that escorting ships across the Atlantic job, then, I don't know, you probably know what it's like in America where you've got the Marines and everything. And then they're like, oh, yous are all good at running and jumping and shooting and ducking and covering and counting to 5 after you chuck a grenades, and you're fit and you're brave. Would you like to be in this place and go and, you know, would you like to join and get me some Nazis? You know, I want some Nazi scalps. And he was like, yes, I will join. And then he went and signed up and started doing all that jazz. So he was after that, so they did all that, and then he was in Berlin. So he got to see everything. He got all over the place doing it. And then he came back and had a stroke, so his wife and my gran had to do all the work herself again anyway. So that's a bit of a tragedy, isn't it? I would think so. I would think that'd be a bit of a tragedy if that happened to me. I don't have to have double-digit children. Fucking hell. I didn't have proper pain medication then either. Not proper. Not like they do nowadays. Right, so what have you been talking about during that fascinating history of Trainspotting's heritage? Iger Brown was number 6 in my family. Blubberneck. Unless it's Lipson. Big time. Sister's on her 6th pregnancy. Oh my god, Sarah. There's a lot of you guys. Trace one. I just started watching some suggested crash course videos of yours. I watched the Fib retracement one and I want to practice it. Can you do an example one on GameStop so I can see a Fibonacci retracement? Hey, that's a no bother. Yeah, I can do that. Low, high, left to right. Come back down, test the 786. GameStop loves testing the 786. 2478 could come in there again, I suppose. But you would like for this to start moving to the top side. Left to right. And then you get your extensions beyond the 0 point. So 1.13, 2550, 2559. You know, I'm going to move this because it's mine and I can. Bing. Bing. There you go. Right, don't say I never do anything for you, sir. Good shout watching that video. We call them fibs, but they do not lie. Thousands and thousands of people watch that video, even though the audio is quite frankly terrible, even worse than it is now. Thousands of people watch it all the time. They love it, so they do. You're welcome, mostly the biz. The biz. His wife is a soldier doing it 8 times. Big time. Big style-y. Haha. Hi. Great to see you, L. Baker. What do I have to do to get out of the grey zone? Oh, we had that earlier. I probably don't have it anymore. We had a link. Is it still on my... Yeah, you click that. Ba-ding! Click that. And you can be a member. You lucky thing, you. Ah, gosh, I can't click it because there's too many... Emotional reaction button. Or whatever that is. The heart. And the face and the 100. Oh, that's me clicking it. Give it a good smash. Get the use out of it. What with it being there in my way and everything. 11 different variants. Is it wrong to have your real name as your YouTube nickname? What if I get doxxed? Oh my god, what happens? Well, I suppose we'll all be in the shitter then. They'll be in the shitter then. Bing bong. Price is wrong. Bing bong, the name is wrong. So if you use your real name, like, yeah, I don't know if it'll make you get doxxed. There's probably, you know, a couple of Marcus Laggers in the world. So that wouldn't be enough information on its own. And the doxing part is more about your address or your phone number, because then people can hassle you out with your conversation there in the chat box or when you're not on the old YouTubes and stuff. So there's that. Also, why would anyone want to dox anybody, eh? Why would anyone want to do that? Especially a random person for no particular reason. Doesn't make much sense to me why people do things that are weird. But vigilance at all time is important. So it's holding this imaginary line now. You know, like the equator. You can call this the equator. It's the imaginary lion that runs around the earth. A rower. A rower. And yeah, so that imaginary lion with the rower is holding price. I don't know how it does it. Pure magic, I guess. Obviously, this is quite a hopeful extrapolation. Meager bits of price action towards the end of the day here. Meager so far. Only got 10 minutes till I'm expecting something interesting to happen. 11 maybe. So if you're falling down GameStop, hurry up and get on with it so you can get back up again. '87 likes. Boom. That's spectacular. Thank you very much. 210 people watching. Wow. A lot of potential likes sitting there waiting to be activated. So that's significant. Boom, he was right. It was significant. Question in the chat box there from SZ Peters. What's two favourite books? One from trading, one not from trading. Well, it's difficult, innit? It's like your favourite album. I suppose it depends on what you've been up to recently. These sort of things. Depend what your current mode of thinking and trading and so on. Really, really funny book, which I think a lot of people in this chat box will appreciate, is called Vernon Godlittle. Vernon Godlittle. Because it's about an American kid who has these affects and these preferences that mean that he can't use the toilet in his school. So what he does is he sneaks off into the woods to do a number two, right? Like the Pope. And because of this, he's not on any registration details at the start of the class. And there's later a school shooting, which is like a sensitive term to use because, you know, they happen so freaking often that they affect most people really nowadays in America, some level. And yeah, and so he gets accused of it, but of course he hasn't done it. He was doing a number two in the woods, and much hilarity ensues. It's very stressful and it's hilarious, and the whole thing's really good book. It was runner up in the Man Booker Prize in like 2006, 7, sometime around then. It's a really good book. I think people in this chat box would like it. I wouldn't say it's my favourite book, but it's a good shout for you guys. And then trading. It's very difficult to beat Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. Very difficult to beat it. I could probably beat it if I wrote a book about trading. But then I'm very good at these things. Hence, as you can see right now in front of your very eyes. My very eyes! So this is what I would say, said S. Peters. Those two books. I'm also a huge fan of Bonfire of the Vanities. It's the book that got me into trading because I read it when I was about 9 in my gran's kitchen. I read it, and the main character, who's having an affair at the start, he leaves his house to phone his girlfriend, but he tells his wife it's to take the dog for a walk. But it's raining outside, and the dog really doesn't want to go for a walk. And the first chapter is really funny, like it really sends up men, and it's dead funny. And then later on, he works as a trader, and in the book, the main character, the protagonist. And later on, he describes that profession and the mindset of those traders as masters of the universe. He obviously is ridiculed throughout the book, and his mistakes and egoism get him in lots of trouble. And I don't imagine he'd have been a particularly good trader, but it's a book. It's a fiction book. And he coined the phrase in that book, that character that says it, Masters of the Universe. So when you hear it in other movies and later on, that's a shout out and a callback to Bonfire of the Vanities, which is also something I talked about on the stream here, made reference to Bonfire of the Vanities. Vanities! So, GameStop holding 25 at the minute and putting in a strong reaction to that previous low. Bullish divergence throughout the sequence of lows, come back up, test resistance, made its way into the bullish control zone here, the RSI did. Holding those important lows there, you could be drawing a fib on that. You want it to be holding the 236, but clearly it's already gone through there. 382 would be the next retracement. If it holds 24.95, then the last 20 minutes could be fun, folks. Could be really good fun. I wouldn't put it past TraceBot and getting it right. Not on days like today. My imaginary channel is amazing. What does this mean? What does it all mean? You tell me. What does it all mean? Guys, what does this all mean? And feel free to put your own. Make sure to check him out. Your book when? We'll see when Lipson pops. Maybe I'll take a couple of days off and write a tome, a trading tome. That's what I'd call it, the trading tome. Very funny scene. Luke Spears, he is a student of stories. He crafts his own. Are we talking about Tom Wolfe? Yes. Favorite book is America by Kafka. You didn't finish it, but you can't tell. Beautiful book. Kafka-esque. That's where that phrase Kafka-esque comes from. Because it gets turned into a fly. You know, like, this can't get any worse expression. And then it gets infinitely worse. That's Kafka-esque. So when people say, like, oh, that's so Kafka-esque, you could be like, shut up. Oh my god, you're so annoying. Also, great book. Great book. Good shout out there. Good shout out there. Yeah, share your favourite books in the chat box so I can see what you're talking about. The Luxembourgers. The Luxembourgers. How come that sounds so good? What does that mean? Is there any more Lipson in stock? Yeah, what's happening at the minute in Lipson? 6%. Hello, Lipson. Hello. Is there a Lipson in the house? What did we get to? 0.65550. Wow, really wants to spoiling me with this price action trading view. Oh, I shouldn't have changed timelines. It's like wrecked it. It's totally wrecked the thing. I had to restart my computer so many times. I was trying to get Photoshop to do stuff for me, and it didn't do it for me. And then it broke the computer, and then I restarted the computer, and then that didn't fix it. Like, it fixed the main problem, but then that same problem came back again. Oh my gosh, are we ever gonna get... I'll go across here, and then I'll see if this one works. Sometimes this works. Nope, turns out there's no GME left, and there's no Lipson left. You can get any other stock you want. We've got every other stock in stock. But Lipson, I can put it on order for you, and you can swing by next time you're in town. But we don't have any on hand, certainly not in the quantities that you require for a full coverage. You know, for full coverage, don't know if we've got enough, mate. Don't know. Come on, this is a joke. What? Internet bars are on full bars, maximum bars. Stop doing this already. At least Lipson. No, I was going to say at least Lipson loaded, but it didn't. Wow, eh? Calm, cool blue of the Mediterranean, coming to you from TradeSpotting. This is what happens when I talk about price action too much. And I call it to the penny over and over and over and over and over in advance, multiple bounces in advance. It disappears. Price action disappears. Can you do that? Can you do it? Well, I can. I wouldn't advise you do this at home, but I can. Don't try this at home, folks. "15 minutes left. That means there is takeoff time. It's takeoff time, motherfuckers. Oh no, I did it again. But I have to get in and see the granular detail and watch the explosion. Cool people don't look at explosions, apparently. But I look at explosions. So, you know, maybe I'm the exception to the rule. I do think rules are silly, and I do think I am quite exceptional, so that might be true. This is fantastic, and the fact that this is not as high, yet this is so fantastic, and in context, you know, it's amazingly wonderful, beautiful. Probably means it explodes. Explodey, GameStop. Explodey. I don't do the x-axis, but when I do it better than anyone in the world. You gotta get out of this channel, cause Jamie just invented it and it's not really real. Gotta get out of this channel, if it's the last thing we bloody do before market close. Boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna get copyrighted with this amazing tunes. Told you I'd give you some more songs, didn't I? I certainly did. I told you the minute it would break out the top side of this non-real channel. I do surprise myself. I do. It's not true. I don't surprise myself at all. I just try to act like I'm surprised. I try to act like I'm surprised. Oh, I'm surprisey. Que sorpresa. Oh, mucho sorpresas. Boom, 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 boom. What else have we got? I got this thing. It's amazing. I've got the camera on. I have, right? It's Cadbury's caramel milkshake. You know, my God, that Mars one. It's amazing. It's not a milkshake. It's just, you know, chocolate milk with caramel in it. Like, that's such an obvious idea. Why has all chocolate milk not got a caramel in it? Like, chocolate with caramels in it is better. And so if you've got a biscuit, The trick is to just lather it in this stuff. Oh look, there's a retest of the non-existent channel. Oh my god, by the way. Oh my god. See, this, you know, see, my mum, right, when she was pregnant with me, she was addicted to coal. Like, she wanted to eat coal. Like, actual burning coal. She didn't do it right enough. But it did speak to my later trading abilities. That was the craving she had. And I don't particularly like coal, right? I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't trade it very often. You know, I'd mostly stay away from coal. With Rocky, when she was pregnant with Rocky, she would love mince pies, so she would stuff her face with mince pies. Rocky hates mince pies. You know, the Christmas kind. You get them at Christmas, right? Not the mince pies, whatever Americans think I'm saying is nearly always wrong, because you've got crazy words for things. Except in this occasion, these mince pies I'm talking about, they don't have any mince in them. They have a mince, but it's not a mince meat. It's like a mince of like other stuff. Anyway, point is, right, they're Christmas type things. They're damn good too. I love the things. I could eat them forever. I could just eat mince pies most days and I'd be over the moon. But see, if I was pregnant, right, what I want when I do get pregnant, because I'm not actually pregnant, but when I do get pregnant, I want a craving for this stuff, because then I'll be able to just shout at, who was it? Was it Colin? I'll be able to just shout at Colin, give me some of that, give me some of it, fucking go here and give me some fucking chocolate milk with caramel in it. Give it to me, Colin. And then he'll have to go to the shops and get it for me. Okay, price action, what are you doing? Do I have to go in the kitchen? Do I have to go in the kitchen? I probably don't have to go in the kitchen. But if I did go in the kitchen, you know, and I could just go there, it's really close. It's really close, I could just do it. I could just do it. I'm not going to do what everyone thinks I'm going to do. This is not dramatic enough. We're going to the 1 second, everybody. This is my fault for drawing that line. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. This is the low side of the bearish control zone, so that's what you would expect on a retest of a breakout. Now you're getting ridiculous bullish divergence. That's a harmonic. Either price comes back down to 24.88 or it does that. It's bloody. 10 minutes left. This is it. The clock is ticking. You're running out of time to do what I said you're going to do, Bitcoin. Or not Bitcoin. Oh my god, I gave you the wrong name. GameStop's going to be so upset with me now. I called it the wrong name. I know what this goes like. Oh look, I shouldn't have said that. Oh my god, this stuff is so good. It's just so good. So as we watch it do its thing, this exploding in slow motion thing, Stan, trace button. Aha! Never been so entertained by watching someone celebrate themselves. Yes! Yes! And rightfully so, the effortlessness in your technical analysis is beautifully comical. Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate that a lot. Freak out. Ahoy, ahoy, mateys. Aventeen. Great to see you. I hear Colin is quite fertile, so he'll have no trouble knocking GME up. Is there some like grapevine where people discuss fertility and that? And like, see over there, there's been an update to the fertility profile on Colin there. Have you noted that one down? And they do, and then they like at the end of the week they all compare notes and update each other's diaries and whatnot, and they're like, the fertility landscape is looking very good this week. You're exploding in slow motion on the daily, Jen, Captain Jen. I'm so upset with you. Who if? Oh, with Sararara, I'm not surprised. Lipson will get you pregnant. It will. Kissing anyone on the Lipson Very dangerous. Easily could turn up pregnant just a couple of days later. Pecans. Pecans? You picking on the pecan? No, mince pies aren't minty. Ugh. Ugh. Oh yeah, fertility is our favorite subject. Our. You see, our. Now you're genderizing the conversation. You're assuming that it's only women that hang around and have these conversations. Right, I would say that that's very unlikely. It's probably J Dog and Adrian Martinez and the Geck that actually, started this cabal, the fertility cabal. OPEC. Mint pies. J Dog, not mint pies, mince pies. J Dog, I hope you didn't run off to start cooking at the not mint pies, no. Imagine a mint pie. What would that be? It'd be like a lamb. It'd be like a lamb pie. Already, that's not a good pie. And then you'd put mint on it, and mint doesn't go with pastry, so that's a really bad move. And then you would be somebody who heard you wouldn't think you meant that. They'd think you meant mince pie. So then, when you ultimately gave them the food, they'd be mega disappointed. This 1 second time frame is the bee's knees, isn't it? 7 minutes left. I have cocoa up my nose. Cocoa, get out my nose. So we've got 6 minutes left. Oh, that thing. Ugh. Alright, GameStop. 4 minutes and a little bit of progress there. Breaking out of this channel. Is it going for that exciting move? Is it? It could be. GameStop doing exciting things even when it isn't moving that much, but that's about to change because GameStop is about to pop. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your little update on GameStop, a little stock update on GME, experiencing significant price movements, mostly trapped within a range. The big news is the anticipation of what's coming next. There's lots of positive sentiment around the stock at the minute. As of today, it's moved a couple of percentage points. It looks like it's about to move a little chunk more towards the end of the day, which is what we predicted in around the start of the day, along with to the pen, support and to the cent, support and resistance over and over and over today. Really exciting. Everybody in the chat box there. Hopefully people will be able to watch this live show back. But the people in the chat box, obviously, they're not commenting. You've just got full, massive chart on the screen. You're so lucky. The real excitement is in and around tomorrow's expiry, which is expected to be highly impactful. That's because the options chain is off the hook. Over the past couple of weeks, we've seen GME stock price fluctuate violently. We had the shareholder meeting. Afterwards, there was a sharp decline of 12% or so. People attributed that to investors' reactions, but of course, it was very much based on algorithms driving price, following each other and creating that cascading action, rather than investor sentiment changing that much, or the fundamental picture of the business being anything but better after a significant cash raise. The meeting did leave lots of different questions unanswered for various sections of the shareholder base, and it didn't boost confidence. But then, as we've later learned and focused on since that meeting, it's all about the actual chart and where you're able to have conviction in your own beliefs. Since then, we've seen price action in a modest recovery, and today again another couple of percentage points there. 2 minutes left towards the end of the day here, and as I was saying, that option chain, it really is off the hook. A lot of heightened activity indicated there, a significant number of call options, nearly 3 to 1, suggesting bullish sentiment among many traders. This means that implied volatility didn't manage to drop back down to those areas that a lot of people were hoping for before they jumped in on the chain, and that points to expectations of further price swings in the very near future. Tomorrow's expiry is expected to be a major event. The OPEX tailwinds phenomenon suggesting that we might see large volume trades, and this could lead to significant price movements, though the bigger the price movement, that speaks to the volatility. More likely volatility comes from less liquidity. So while we've got high implied volatility and prices could move up, that speaks to the cost you're paying for your option contracts as opposed to putting that volume into driving price itself, because for every buy there is a sale. So a critical moment then for GameStop investors and traders to watch tomorrow's close, and the market response from everything we've seen over the past couple of weeks now really coming to a head. So while it's only moved a couple of percentage points today, and this week hasn't been the most dramatic of weeks in GameStop, the upcoming options expiry could catalyze much more dramatic price movements, and it might be tomorrow that we see the biggest moves in price, which is certainly what a lot of people here have been anticipating. So if I get this chart up for you here, see it come up and test these levels, $25 and change. Hold that 25 as support. You've got close now at 25.12. That sets price up perfectly for tomorrow. Breaking out of this downward sloping channel. If you get the measured move from that, as you can see, this expresses the liquidity within that prior formation. It could test you up to price taking it up to around 25.72. If that breaks, you'll be back inside this larger channel. You can see that on the 5-minute time frame now. Bear with me if the drawings get a little bit much for you. This parallel channel is moving to the top side. If price gets back in there with this bullish divergence, it'll probably come and test the basis line. That's confluent with prior highs from this in at around 26 bucks. And you break that basis line, you break that prior high, and the only thing you've really got to aim for are other highs and targets above. All of that would be very exciting. You've also got this Fibonacci. Might look at that. 1.13 is up at 26.94. 618 is up at 27.89. These are all very realistic targets, but a lot of people will be looking in for this to get to 30 bucks. Why 30 bucks? Because this open interest profile, where you can see that there's 3 times as many calls as puts nearly, and probably more today, even though it's tomorrow's expiry and people buying 0 today's the expiry contracts. Who knows? This is a new phenomenon. People absolutely love it. You're all bonkers. Then you've got the call put call option ratio there. It's at 0.3, right? 0.38. So that overall might be taken to be bearish, because a lot of these people that are long will be selling those contracts. We'll see how that works out. Tomorrow, if price action's pushing to the top side, there will be buyers for a lot of these contracts. Also true to say that there's still bonkers people here trading $128 strike. They're not actually trying to get price to that level or expecting it to be there so that they end in the money. They're trying to capture the volatility. So when that goes up, the implied volatility goes up, then the share price is clearly moving to the top side. That will increase the premium that others will pay for those contracts. Even towards expiry, you might get a little bit of a movement there. Now, I don't recommend trading that way, certainly not that far out the money. There are much more sophisticated ways to trade that are safer and will make you richer. You can learn all about them in my course, www.technicalanalysis.school. Aren't you lucky that that exists? And you can join the Discord. The paid side of Discord is particularly spectacular. It comes with this, which is TradeSpotting's take on Lisbon. It's the paid side of Discord. It's an intense and really incredible accounting analysis, fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and everything you could possibly want to know about Lisbon. And it's of a really high quality, so you get things like this. Whoa, I love that.
We were allowed to win. This thing wants us to believe we can win.
And you can. You can win. All you need to do is tune in to TradeSpotting on the regular. Add me to your Monday milk. It's coming up in a couple of days. Also, we probably want to have a little brief look at Lipson here now that we've got you and I together. Let's see if it loads the chart. Lipson up 4.89%. Come on, give me my price action. It's afraid to even show it to me because he knows I'll eat all of it. Interesting thing about Lipson is this Gartley. It's a reversal formation. It comes at the bottom of a trend. You've got a downward sloping diagonal resting on top of price action. And if it does manage to break these levels at 0.7 and change, it could be absolutely bonkers on the chart for Lipson. You could be getting 100% moves. You could be getting thousands of percent moves eventually. I am a huge believer in this company. An absolutely huge believer in this company, in the executive team, in the transition plan. They've got an activist fund, and they've got a community of the best traders in the world. Not just some random group of apes that coalesce together, but a massive group of amazing traders who are addicted to this thing. That looks like it's going to continue, and if the price action moves to the top side, that community is going to grow, and the people on the other side of that trade are going to be wetting themselves and peeing their boots because absolutely huge moves possible on Lipson. If it just fulfills this Gartley, you know, you'll probably see it up there with a 100% move on price. That's possible because the thing is so cheap, trading at 0.62 now. Low of the day, 0.59. Huge volatility, huge opportunity, and a really dedicated community trying to discover everything they possibly can about prices on Lipson. So huge moves coming across the charts, across the market. It's an awful lot to look to. SPY, it's had a positive day in the end. Why is that? It looks like it's going sideways. Did put in this lower low. That lower low held the golden pocket. If you're looking at this on the 4 hour, and we'll zoom in to the most current price action, you might not be able to see it because there's an awful lot of work there, but price is pushing to the top side. It's following this fib channel, and when you zoom right in and these details become clear, you see that this isn't actually breaking down. It's not actually putting anything in that you could call a lower low. It's consolidating at resistance, and it could easily push higher, having attracted a little bit of liquidity to go short, because they would have all been aiming for a fill on this gap. If this gap does fill, likely you get the 1618 down to 5370 in SPX, and if that doesn't hold, and it probably wouldn't in that kind of a retracement, you'd likely be looking for 5353. And that's the sort of thing I'm looking for on this particular stock. Oh, you can't see it because I've got this up. Have I had that up the whole time? Maybe I did. Oh my goodness gracious me. Silly me. Silly TradeSpotting. Hey, your messages on Facebook about it and everything. Hey, where are we going to hide? Where are we going to hide when we're rich, Sarah Herrera? Where are we going to hide when Gary comes calling? So, thanks very much for the reminder. I shall start again. I shall start again. That is That's SPY in the background, though it doesn't quite fit on the chart. This is SPY in the background. The broad market's been consolidating, might push up. That would probably be great for GameStop. You're here for GameStop, you said. Well, we're also going to check out LPSN. Consolidating a resistance on SPY, attracting a little bit of liquidity because people think they can go short. They think they can go short and take it to this gap fill. Might even go further to the 1618. Or if TradeSpotting would actually recommend that if it does want to move down, then it should check in with 53.5. Now that's very, very possible on SPX. It's just been consolidating at resistance. It's in the bullish control zone. I don't like arguing with that. Having slipped out of it, it recovered it again. This held a golden pocket retracement and an important horizontal level. It's also advancing to the top side in line with this fib channel. And you should definitely check out the show on the regular. Add me to your Monday Milk if you're interested in anything. I can do any chart anytime and call it brilliantly. Here's GameStop on the 4-hour time frame. That's an unusual place to start. Let's keep it running though. Whoop, get back in your box. Fibonacci. So price action at the moment is broken out of this consolidation. This consolidation was slightly lower highs, slightly lower lows. These green lines here, diagonal support, diagonal resistance, converging as price broke out. Take that measured move and it looks like you're targeting back above 27. You've got an important target in at around 30. That's where we anticipated price going with this trade. We waited on it for ages. You got the entry, you got the breakout. It looks like you're all good. Remember to manage that profit as you would using a stop loss to protect your capital. So we're looking at this price action coming back and testing these prior highs. If the break's there, then you're back into this tightening formation again, that being a potential symmetrical triangle, but it's not real, right? It's not real. And likewise, neither when we get down here, if price actually comes to me. Come on, price. I do like it when price comes to me. Do you think you could get on with it? This is supposed to be a speedy clip for those people who don't have much time. So if price does manage to recover, it'll be going back into a channel. It's broke out of this downward sloping parallel channel, which wasn't real. It could come back then and test back into the previous highs there at 25 and change, like we said. If it starts doing that, it's in this guy. This guy is defined by these two yellow diagonal trend lines moving to the top side in parallel, which speaks to the targets on GameStop back above 26. That's a prior high. Probably meets even higher. It'll meet this resistance level on the top side. And price then moving to the top side, big moves. We would anticipate that happening because it'll be coming back to test for resistance. And where do we find resistance? You don't have to go all the way up to the 4-hour time frame, though you would like it if price actually showed up on time. Price, you're so tardy. You can see that you're already at an important level of resistance here. You manage to break above that prior high, you'll have what is quite clearly jumping out at me now as an inverted head and shoulders. The measured move on that's absolutely ridiculous. It'll take you back up to that target, $30. Great news. Great news to see that confluence on price action. And why might we be seeing things like this? Because when you check in at the open interest, there's this huge target at $30. Absolutely huge. You've got interesting information there. I'll explain that to you now just briefly. You've got a put to call ratio of 0.38, which suggests there's nearly 3 times as many people bullish as bearish, and that speaks to strong sentiment. And we've seen a lot of strong sentiment on GameStop, not just today where we've seen a few percentage point moves, but also this week. A lot of interest and a lot of bullish activity on the chain, option chain off the hook. It's experienced significant price movements. The biggest news is the anticipation of what it is we expect to see next. And those targets of 30, if they're broken, you'll see big, big explosions on GameStop. And they won't be in slow motion. They'll be in your face. So market volatility attracting people to this stock. Bullish sentiment among the investor base, getting everybody hyped up and excited, despite the fact that just there recently we had the investor meeting. GME stock price fluctuated violently. We saw a sharp decline of over 12% off the back of the investor meeting, which left people with a little bit of a negative reaction, a sort of split in the investor base after that annual shareholders meeting. And it left many questions unanswered, and it definitely didn't boost the conviction or the confidence of some sections of the investor base. But despite that, there has been a bit of a recovery, and stocks have gained a few percentage points here and there to now put them in danger of making a really big move back up again. Option chain there, as you can see behind us, a lot of noteworthy things going on. Volume of option trading is indicating heightened activity. There's a significant number of call options in there at $30, then at 40 and 45. The bears are nowhere on the option chain, nowhere to be found. Implied volatility is notably high. It didn't drop down to give people those entries they wanted on the chain. But then the fact that loads of people are sitting there on the sidelines asking to be tagged in is obvious to the other side of the trade. Tomorrow's expiry is expected to be a major event. OPEC's tailwinds. This phenomena sees a large volume of trades come in towards the close of the week, and we could then say that along with significant price movements, if we get that volume on the back end, especially in the options chain, you might even be looking for more and more continuation on price, which would lead to next week being exceptional. So tomorrow's expiry, a very important point to look to. And even though GameStop's only moving a couple of percentage points, I think you would be excited. And I think you want to tune into TradeSpotting for top energy, top excitement, and a really cool, friendly, welcoming chat box. There's also exciting things happening with Lisbon. Now, putting this in context, I'll do it on the 30-minute time frame to keep it as clear and succinct as possible. You've had a long, strong downtrend, taking prices down more than 80% in the last 12 months. Despite that, close this guy over, give you it straight right in your face. TradeSpotting coming in your face again. Yep. Just as we adapt, just as you requested, really. So you've got this downward sloping trend, right? Now it begins way above there, and it continued for a very long time. This thing was really beaten down to the point where it's putting in this important formation here. That's a Gartley. It suggests a potential reversal. You've also got an inverted head and shoulders. The neckline's written out there in bright blue. If you get Lipson breaks back above that, it's going to be absolutely bonkers. It's going to be absolutely bonkers for Lipson. It probably goes 100% move up to 148. There's lots of different targets to look to along the way. All of them are the top side. If it does break down, you've got a perfectly adequate trade setup there. It's not financial advice, but nobody calls price like TradeSpotting. And at this stage, it's clear everybody's been tuned in for a while. If that isn't you, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and join the team. We'd love to have you. Thanks everybody who supported the show. Thanks for all the new members. Thanks for all the new people in the chat box. Thanks for everybody who's given me watch time and boosts this content and extends the reach. We make a big difference here. We improve traders. Traders meet the markets and improve the markets. And the markets are what runs the world. It's not some person. It's the markets. And that's a collection of people. And you're some of the best at it. And in future, we're going to get better and better and better. Nothing's going to stop us. Rocky Outcrops Discord. Join it. The link's there on the screen. www.discord.gg/RockyOutcrop. This Sunday, we've got the book club. We're all reading the playbook. This is the playbook. It's brilliant. Whoa! It's quite a big book, but then that speaks to the utility and the value in it, and you'll be getting a really good summary from those people in the book club. If you're new to the community, you're welcome to join in and see how that works. We'll be doing it this Sunday, so check that out, follow those links, and join us as we advance together. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Boom. That was even better. Ha! That was even better! Right. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll be putting that clip up. We got the mince pies. We're still talking mince pies, or am I behind in chat? 148 on Lipson. I don't know, like. Although I know exactly, and I like bacon pancakes. I bet you're enjoying it here, huh? I bet you're enjoying it here, bacon pancakes. He's fresh, so, you know, it hasn't grown familiar and comfortable for bacon pancakes yet. I'm sure he's still surprised by how these things go. But the rest of us, we should remember how lucky and privileged we are to watch someone like me. You know, I certainly think that when I'm watching back. Wow! How lucky am I? Great summary. Thank you very much. And you'll re-watch it as well. Lifty, it's appreciated. I hope everybody does. Thanks very much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, Friday, options expiring. I think so, sir. We might have a really exciting show lined up for Friday. We may well do. I might be rubbing my hands in anticipation of the glee we're going to be having tomorrow, Friday, watching options expire, watching price make its moves. And it's already demonstrated a lot of strength. You know, I'm not just hyping people up in the chat box. The fact that it managed to do what it did in the time that it managed to do it in is very, very encouraging for what we might see towards close of the week. And then if that does go as I anticipate, next week's going to be absolutely fucking brilliant on GameStop. Absolutely brilliant. I'll quickly just check in and see what the option chain looks like, though this will be obviously updated. 95, that's dropped down a little bit. You can now see it on the chart. Whoa! And you've got huge interest at 60, 50, 40, 35, and 30 again. Imagine they all ended up the money already, in the money this week. That'd be crazy. Crazy. Mac Payne 23, price action in GameStop's $2 away from that, so you know it could come back down, test that level. If it did, would that be drastic? Not so drastic there. Not so drastic here either. It has retested this area since the breakout. It does have a support level at 24. If SPY moves down and closes that gap towards the end of the week there, towards close on Friday, then maybe GameStop moves the same direction. But in all honesty, I'm looking for a positive close tomorrow, and I'm excited to be planning to watch it with you guys. So thanks very much for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you tomorrow. If you do it,